Yeah, that's good.
There's no reason to stop it.
Yeah, you're right. So a couple of thoughts is, usually if somebody has an acute situation going on, they could use a couple of things. So they're stressed, they're anxious, give them something to help immediately. Holy basil is going to help immediately. Anxiety-free can help immediately. But also give them something to help them long-term deal with that difficult situation in life. Because it's their, let's just say it's a friend or family member, it's a job, it's, whatever. Give them something to help them on a day-to-day basis long-term, not just immediately, and something to strengthen their bodies long-term. You mentioned the raw adrenal. I don't give people just this straight unless they've heard about it, they know about it. If they want, because I've seen people react to this, to feel all the symptoms they're trying to avoid, I've seen people feel when they take this. They feel anxious, they feel stressed, they're like, this doesn't work for me. People are really sensitive, react to raw adrenal because it's a glandular and it's almost like a strong medicine. The herbs are going to be safer. And it made me think of something else. As a general rule of thumb, I rarely give people a single herb when dealing with a health condition. There's only a couple exceptions to that. I give people holy basil all the time. I give people lemon balm all the time. But in general, I don't give people single herbs, I give people formulas. The reason is because formulas are safer. Because it's a blend of different herbs that have like a synergistic effect on the body. All our formulas have been formulated by a pretty brilliant person or a really good company. And so it's not going to have as a shocking, dramatic effect on the body, a formula is, as a single herb. So for example, cayenne pepper is great, but if you just shoot cayenne pepper under your tongue, it's going to light you up. But cayenne pepper is in a lot of formulas as the last ingredient because it helps so much with getting the circulation of those herbs through your body, through your blood flow, everything it does for your cardiovascular system. It's a great herb to add into a formula. Does that make sense? Holy basil I give by itself because people want that effect. They want to feel immediately calm and relaxed and it's good, and that's okay. But a lot of the sleep formulas like kava kava, I wouldn't give people kava kava straight. It's way too strong. So like for example, the Kava the Kava Calm formula has kava kava, but it's got hops, valerian, passion flower, schisandra, anise or aniseed, and licorice root, which is a nice herb that is added into a lot of formulas just to kind of help balance everything. So it's going to have a better benefit long term for people to take to take a blend of herbs as opposed to just taking a single herb in general. Does that make sense?
When would you give the adrenal?
What's that?
When would you give the adrenal?
The adrenal glandular I actually give on a I would be okay with this as opposed to just the raw adrenal because this is just the straight glandular and I've seen people have reactions to this. So it just fits what we just talked about. This has the glandular in it, but it's a much smaller amount. No, this is orthomolecular. This has the adrenal glandular in it, but a much smaller amount. And it's blended with the B vitamins, the vitamin C, some of the Chinese herbs. So it's not going to have as a dramatic effect on the body because the glandular can help build the adrenal glands, build and strengthen the adrenal glands. But if somebody's super sensitive, they're jittery, caffeine affects them, you give them the straight raw adrenal, it could send them through the roof. Like it could be a problem. But this might be more of a mild effect on their body and actually be able to help them and strengthen them. I don't know if I've ever had anybody react to this formula, but I've had multiple people react to just taking the straight glandular.
Gosh, I'm almost wondering if we should even have it out there.
Well, people know about it. People are going to come in and they're like, yeah, I want adrenal glandular. And you'd be like, well, this is the straight glandular. Like, that's what I want. I had a gal at the grand opening say, I want desiccated liver, which is just straight liver. And we had it. I mean, you can do cod liver oil, but if you just want straight liver from an animal, like you can do that. And this is just straight, adrenal. So.
But if you're, you might maybe educate them that we have it in a formula in the one that has the orthomolecular.
Yeah, and I actually take that back because this actually does have some vitamin C and some B vitamins in it. So they actually do put a couple of things in it with the glandular. It's just a much stronger glandular. So. In other words, I don't recommend this on my own unless people come in, they know about it, they know about glandulars. What do you have for glandulars? Hey, we have this.
Yeah. What do you like to pair when someone is dealing with thyroid adrenals? Like I was dealing with both.
Yes.
Because I had thyroid shut down, and I was dealing with a lot of grief because I had, was walking through the loss of a loved one. And when I saw Vaughn, he actually put me on two things, the thyroid and the adrenal. Which do you like to pair
at the same
together?
time.
That's a good question. So what would you pair together for thyroid and adrenal issue, because you got multiple things going on? My initial thought is that I would put them on iodine, because I put everybody on iodine when it's related to thyroid issues. But I really focus on the adrenals first, as I said in a few minutes ago, just because I think that is such a critical component to helping people deal with daily life. The stress, the anxiety, the anxiousness, the coping, the handling loss of loved ones, or whatever the situation is. So I would probably go with an adrenal formula, like anxiety-free. If it was the loss of a loved one, there was stress, there was anxiousness, there was those types of issues, I'll probably go with the anxiety-free just to help immediately, and maybe the iodine for some thyroid support. Or you could do a formula like the Adrenal, which is a glandular and a blend of all the different herbs and vitamins, along with the iodine or something like that.
Would you do one of the thyroid powers, or?
I would probably wait on that. Another thing I really like to do is I'm big on food. And I want you guys to be big on food. I want you to be big on nutrition. Big on nutrition. So I really want you to understand what the adrenals and the thyroid need nutritionally, because people don't want to necessarily take a bunch of pills. And I don't want people to have to take a bunch of pills. So maybe you take this because you're dealing with anxiety. Maybe you need iodine because everybody does, and you need a little thyroid support. But hey, coconut oil is great for the thyroid. Those essential fatty acids are critical for glandular function. The thyroid and the adrenals can't produce hormones without healthy fats. So make sure they're doing the foods too, the sea salt in the water like we talked about, the minerals. Iodine's a mineral. So maybe they get on the Inner Vitality, the plant minerals, that has all the trace minerals, it's got the iodine, it's got all the naturally occurring minerals in it. Always couple food. And to me, nutrition is the minerals, the spirulina, the coconut. I mean, that's food to me. And that's one thing I always try to encourage people is change your shopping list around. Instead of having Fruity Pebbles and Raviola and all that stuff, it should say, minerals and spirulina and hemp seeds. Like, that should be our shopping list. A lot of times people look at going into a health food store as an extra expense they got to find a budget for in addition to their food budget. It shouldn't be that way. This should be food. Food is medicine. That's what Hippocrates said, right? So I like to couple a good supplement along with educating people about the sun, about minerals, about foods. So what foods would you recommend people not do if they had fatigue or they had adrenal issues? Stimulants. You'd really want to get them away from the stimulants. The processed sugar, the coffee. They might have to wean off the coffee. We might have to find a replacement for coffee. Oh, well, let's do some green tea. It has a third of the caffeine as coffee. So it can help you transition.
Excess starches too. Like sometimes people think sugar is only in the form of certain things, but they forget about the white breads. They're eating big fatty russet potatoes every night. They're just breaking down into straight sugar.
Yeah, and the problem with carbs when it comes to the adrenals, there's just so much to talk about the adrenals, and I'm just sorry, but that's why you should listen to the recording. But people come in with blood sugar issues, usually adrenals. Adrenals are liver, but a lot of times it's adrenals. So you might give them a blood sugar balance formula, but they actually might need adrenal support. They might need sea salt in their water. They might need to strengthen their adrenals. When you've been living on caffeine and sugar, that's all your body knows. It's all it knows. So as soon as you don't give it the coffee, or you don't give it the candy bar or the carbs or the bread in the afternoon, whoosh, the blood sugars drop and it needs a fix. So strengthening your adrenals over time, instead your body's like, oh, I can use fats for fuel. I can produce a little adrenaline and give you some energy. Like, the body has other tools and resources to use if it's not only relying and living on sugar and caffeine. So that's another kind of adrenal component just to kind of throw in there. I thought of it because she mentioned the potatoes. If you just eat only starch, we need those, but if you live on that, your body isn't using proteins and fats and other things for fuel and energy that it needs, and that's going to mess up your blood sugars, which is tied to adrenals as well. Good? Okay, well, it's 5 to 10, so we can... Oh, you know what? Should I... I'll stop it, and then maybe I'll do headache and eye just to finish this section, because we can